Hey, but it's Steve from that old Yorkshire Geek. Sorry, I'm a little bit late. But it's Friday night, which means it's appointment with Fear Night. But this week we're doing Brightburn, which is a film I really like. It's kind of, if Superman was born evil. I suppose it's kind of been done in The Boys, hasn't it? With Homelander. But anyway, that's what we're watching tonight. So let's hit the intro and then we'll get on with it. Right, I'm back. So, as I said, we're doing Brightburn, which is a 2019 film. Let's get some information about it before we start. 2019, directed by David Yarovesky, who I've never heard of. Never heard of him before this, never heard of him since this. I don't know if he's done anything else. It was written by Brian Gunn and Mark Gunn, and produced by James Gunn and Kenneth Huang. One of them, Brian and Mark, is James Gunn's brother, and one is his cousin. I can't remember which way around it is. I think Mark's the cousin, I think. So it's a Gunn family movie. It stars Elizabeth Banks, David Denman, and Jackson A. Dunn as the it's not the eponymous hero because it's not named after him. The name Brightburn is named after the town in which they live, so it's like Smallville. But anyway, so 2019, I don't know what its budget was. Its budget was $6 to $12 million. Its box office was $33 million, so it did okay for its budget. So it's a low-budget film, but it does well with its budget. It's got good effects. It's not a long film, hour and a half, 90 minutes. So let's start, shall we? Let's just get on with it. Let's get the film up. As usual, we'll not be watching the film. I'll just be going through it in a series of stills. Blank screen. I'll just go through it in a series of stills. Maybe play the odd snippet. So off we go. Now then, is it going to, when I skip forward, is it going to jump, frame by frame, or is it going to be like a minute at a time? Let's see. Let's get me, there we go. 12 seconds, 12-second jumps it's doing, according to the timestamp. Sony. But that's a 3-second jump. That baffling. I don't understand how this works. I don't understand. Anyway, we'll keep skipping forward. I've never heard of them. Troll Court Entertainment. I've no idea. There you go. Cricket's chirping. Oh, you can't see it from my fat head. Hang on, let me get rid of this for a moment. As you can see from the mailbox, the Breyer family residence, that's how they pronounce it. I always thought I'd have pronounced it Breyer, but in the film they pronounce it Breyer. As we'll see, the main person in the film is called Brandon Breyer, keeping the alliterative name going, because as I said, it's a superhero film, but he's not really a superhero, he's a supervillain, spoilers. So keeping the alliterative name going, Peter Parker, Bruce Banner, Clark Kent, Brandon Breyer. Anyway, so off we go. Hang on. Right, so we see we've got Tori and Kyle Breyer, who are a married couple. The farmers, they live on a farm in Brightburn, Kansas. Apparently they were childhood sweethearts, as we learn later in the film. They're trying for a kid, but it's not happening. Don't know why. It doesn't really explain it. I don't know if it's her fault or his fault or nobody's fault. It's just not one of those things. So, like I said, they're trying again, or they're about to try again. But then she feels something. As we can see, she's younger here. So as we can see by her hair, she's got a bit of purple there. This is 2006. She feels something, he doesn't feel it, and then suddenly the lights go out, there's a big rumble, Tori screams, Man says, hold on. Man is Kyle. I don't know, I would say Kyle, but, there we go, it says Kyle size now. And then we see out in the woods, there's a glowing red something, and a smoke, and apparently they've gone out to investigate, but we don't see what happens. They say, oh my God, what is that? And then we find out what it is. There we go. We see young Brandon as a baby. So we see some home videos of him growing up. We'll go skip through these. Oh, look, he's crawling. Hey, oh, look, in his denim dungarees. You always put your kids in dungarees, don't you, for some reason? Did we mine? Don't know how you do it, you just do. It's the law worldwide. Anyway, so as we've seen, he's having a good childhood. He's not abused or anything. He's got good parents. And apparently they're honest with him. They tell him that he is adopted. They adopted him from an agency. That's what they tell him. They don't try and make out he's their son. So, they tell him he's adopted. So he knows from the start they are not his real parents. So then we cut to 10 years later. So he must have been around, we saw up to about the age 2. So now it's 10 years later. He's 12 now. Soon to have his birthday. Here we see some shots of the farm. Then we see the mailbox again, Briar. Is it a little bit more weathered, I do believe. Anyway, so this is Tori. She's looking for Brandon, getting him up for school. But they're playing a bit of hide and seek. So she goes around whistling, playing hide and seek. There she goes, she's looking for him. Oh, there you go. We see some photos on the wall, and also as we go, hang on, let me pause it, see if I can pause it right. You're a maths star, and school certificates. It turns out he's a bit of a prodigy, a bit of a genius. So he's not just brawn, he's brains as well, as we'll find out. Anyway, she goes out into the barn. I don't know why she goes out there, but she does, looking for Brandon. Because we learn that he's told never to go in the barn, but she goes there to look for him anyway. Maybe she realises he's a little shit and won't do as he's told. So anyway, so she's out here whistling, and then we hear Brandon whistling, and then he jumps out at her, scares her. So here we're going to have a jump scare in a moment. There you go, jumps out, and they embrace. And immediately, there's something not quite right about him. I don't know why. It must be a good actor, this young lad, unless they, cast him because he's kind of creepy. There's something about him. It just is something not quite right. He's got high cheekbones and stuff. There's something not quite right about him. I'm sure he's a lovely lad. Anyway, there you go. We see Kyle doing his manly farming stuff because they're out in Kansas, so they're going to go shooting later on because that's what they do. I keep looking over there for the camera and I keep forgetting I've moved it back over there again. Why do I do this? Why don't I just pick a spot for it? Anyway, right, so here we go. They're telling, Kyle's telling Brandon off a little bit. The rules of the barn, he's not allowed in because it's dangerous, full of farm equipment and, don't want him to break his neck. So they're going to have breakfast. And then we see him at school and they're talking about bees and wasps. And apparently Brandon knows all about bees and wasps. All the other kids are bored. Brandon's drawing in his notebook. I don't know if we'll see it. But he knows all about wasps. He says bees are pollinators and wasps are predators. I think wasps are pollinators as well, not on purpose. I mean, bees don't pollinate on purpose, do they? It just happens. But anyway. So there we go. Oh, this is where she's asking him. I don't know if we'll see what he's drawing. Do we see? I don't know. So it goes into all about it, and he talks about maggots and stuff, and the other kids pick on him slightly. Well, more than slightly. But the girl that sat in front of him, or sitting in front of him, whose name escapes me, I've forgotten. Hang on, let me check. Let me look it up, see if I can find out. Because she's important. It's Caitlin Connor, played by Emmy Hunter. She's got massive eyes, as we'll see. Anyway, the kids pick on him, because they're talking about maggots, and they say, maybe you're interested in maggots because you are one. He gets that a lot. You think he's going to be all meek and mild, like Clark Kent. Turns out he's not. There you go, there's Caitlin Connor with her massive eyes, but obviously Brandon gets smitten. There you go. She says they're scared because the smart ones end up ruling the world. Then we linger on his face a little bit, but not there. So anyway, so we cut to night. There he is. Brandon's snugly asleep in bed, and Tori goes about her painting. She's an artist, a slovenly artist it seems. Got paint all over her hi-fi system. Here we go. There you go. So she's painting away, singing a song, and then the whatever it is that's in the barn starts calling to Brandon, a bit like in Superman the movie when the Clark's spaceship calls to him. This is the same thing. It's just Superman, but with an evil Superman or Superboy, as I. Anyway, so Brandon starts whispering in his sleep, and then we're hearing alien voices. Everybody's none the wiser. Brandon, he wakes up, although I think he's still asleep, but this is all acting. This is all subconsciously going on for Brandon. So he ends up going out to the barn. There we go. Gets out of bed, jumps out the window, that first floor window, or in America you'd say second floor. I don't know why do we have a first floor upstairs? We have a ground floor and a first floor, but obviously elsewhere in the world you have a first floor, which is the ground floor, and the second floor. Makes more sense. For once, us Brits are being stupid. Anyway, she hears a noise. She hears him jumping out of his window, and she goes out. Why is there washing out at night? I know I've left washing out at night, but accidentally. And if I'd have gone out, I'd have said, "Oh, I forgot to bring that washing in." But maybe it's an American thing. I don't know. In Britain, if you leave your washing out all night, it'll just get rained on again. Anyway, she thinks she doesn't see anything. Then she is. Oh, there we go. We see. You can just make him out there. Hang on, can you see me thingy? There, you just make him out there. He's rushing past. Is Brandon. Here's the fabric rustling. So she goes walking through it. And then I think she hears something in the barn, so she goes to check it out. Anyway, she gets to the. There you go. She sees Brandon tugging at a trap door that's padlocked. Hang on. Ooh, hiya, Joshua. Missed you last week. Great choice. I can't see because I've got a wire in front of my screen. There we go. I wish this world had been allowed to grow with the other stories that are hinted at later. Yeah, well, you never know. You never know. It might happen. Because it was a reasonably successful film, I think, considering its budget. But you never know. Never say never these days. Weirder things have happened. Anyway, where was I? Oh, yeah, it's tugging at this trapdoor that's padlocked. Obviously, he hasn't got his super strength quite yet. So he don't get in. Anyway, she goes up to him and, he kind of wakes up out of his dream. I don't know if it was sleepwalking or if it was just some trance or whatever. I don't know. But there we go. She says, "You're all right." He thinks it was just sleepwalking. And there were voices. So she puts him back into bed. Sings to him. If I try singing to my son, he tells me to shut up. Don't know why. Because I'm not, what's her face? I forgot her name. Elizabeth Banks. I'd like to have Elizabeth Banks singing to me as well. Anyway. So she goes singing, and we're lingering on the whatever's in there. We know it's his spaceship. We know it is. Right, so everything all right. And yes, they were sleepwalking. She lies to Kyle, saying they were just downstairs. She doesn't say they were in the barn. Although she comes clean later on. Right, next day, they're doing some repair work on the farm. There you go. First couple of years after we adopted you, so he knows he's adopted. Gives him a sweet. So anyway, so he sends Brandon off to do some to mow the lawn. I wish I could get my lad to mow the lawn. He'll just sod all for me. I should be tougher with him. Anyway, never mind. Right, so he's going to mow the lawn, and he can't start the lawn mower. It's petrol lawn mower. Should stick with electric. Never mind. Petrol lawn mower, it won't start, and it's pulling on the starting puller thing, whatever they call them. And then accidentally throws the lawn. There we go. Throws the lawn. There we go. Hey! So he's a bit amazed at that. So he thinks, oh, I'm getting superpowers. Yes, you were missed. You were missed, Joshua. You were. Joshua says, I'm sorry. I'm also sorry I missed the flies last week. Family and real life. I know. It's a pain in the ass, in it, real life. Kind of slapped me around, yeah. I know the feeling. Anyway, it's good to see you again. Where were we? Oh, the lawnmower, right. So it started, he's got it going, after, even though he's thrown it, 100 yards across the pasture. So it's going, the blades whirring, soundly. So he goes up to it and he thinks, how am I going to test my superpowers? I'll stick my hand in it. So that's what he does. I thought, when I first watched this, I thought, oh, he'll get stopped. Kyle will appear and say, what are you doing? But no, he don't. He just sticks his hand in the mower blade and breaks the blade. There you go. So I don't know how he's going to explain that to his dad. Maybe he says eat a stone or something, I don't know. Oh, bless her. Joshua says his daughter, 15 years old, still has him sing to her each night when he tucks her in. I'll take it as long as she'll allow. My lad just tells me to shut up. Maybe it's because I can't sing. Anyway, he does. I'm singing around the house. I'll just hear this. Stop singing. Yeah, anyway, so that's he finds out he's got super strength, he's not injured, and we learn that he's never been cut, he's never bled, he's never been ill or anything like that. Right, so we cut to, I presume it's another night, or maybe the same night, I don't know. We cut to another, they're in the local, Darbo's family grill. They're having a fun time, him and his mum, playing video games and the grabber things, where they get a teddy or whatever, stuffed toy. Anyway, Mrs. Connors, the waitress, I forgot her name, Erica, that's it, Erica. She brings out, because we find out it's Brandon's birthday. Erica brings out a little cake with a candle in. He's not over impressed, to be honest, but they all sing happy birthday to him. And he says, this is for little kids. And says, come on, make a wish. So they're all nice, they're all friends at the moment. So he blows the candle out, and but then over here, Uncle Noah. Oh, you can't see him. Hang on, I'll just slide that over a little bit. There we go. That's Uncle Noah. That's Aunt. Is it not Melissa? Something along those lines. Hang on. Merrilee. That's it. Merrilee. That's Aunt Merrilee. She is Tori's sister. So there you go. So you can see the resemblance. Anyway, Uncle Noah decides it's time for Brandon to have his birthday present from his aunt and uncle. So that, of course, being America and Kansas, they give him a rifle. So we're finding out that he's super cool at school, top grades and all stuff, top 1/10%. So he's not only Clark Kent, he is Lex Luthor as well. Right, so here we go. So there you go, a rifle. And Kyle's not impressed. He said, come on, we spoke, no guns. So he takes it off him, and Brandon isn't impressed with this, and he tells him to give it to me. And as he gets angry, I think he hits the table. All the electrics go doolally for a minute. Everything switches off, and everybody's watching. They're seeing a kid kicking off, as you always do in these places. But Kyle says, "Oh, that's it. We're going." So the thank Noah and Merrilee, and go on, we're going, because Brandon's a little shit now. So off they go. Merrilee says to Noah, I told you it wasn't a good idea. I mean, she's the school counsellor as well. I mean, for Christ's sake, she should. Why could she be more forceful with Noah? But they needed a scene, didn't they, to show us. There we go. Just don't get that kid. There we go. Still learning about him. He's starting to change now. He's entering puberty. I think this is why his powers are starting to manifest. Because he's entering puberty. This is where we learn that there were childhood sweethearts. They used to, make out in their parents' basement. So obviously about the same age. Right. So anyway, so there we go. They're gonna get down to it. Anyway, next morning. They've decided they're gonna go camping for the weekend. So they're getting everything ready. Brandon is eating his breakfast. I don't know what it is. I think it might be scrambled eggs. I'm not sure. But then he starts to chew up a fork, as we'll see. I don't think he realises he's doing it at first. But now he takes the fork out of his mouth and it's all mangled. So obviously he's got superhuman teeth now. So I think, that's weird. Tori's going to get Brandon's warm coat because she says it's going to be cold. Anyway, she finds some literature under his bed, some scantily clad ladies. But then we see there's he's interested in anatomy, human anatomy, female anatomy mostly, but not just the outside, the inside as well. But they're not showing it, are they? But never mind, you don't need to see. It shows photos of guts and stuff, so I think that's a bit weird. There's a warning right there, isn't there? Anyway, so they're camping next to this tree that's been chopped down or fallen down. I'd find somewhere else myself, but never mind. So what are they doing? Here we go. Kyle and Brandon are out hunting because it's the countryside. And Kyle decides it's time for the birds and the bees talk with Brandon. So they have a little chat about, his body's changing and it's okay to have these feelings about girls, etc. So that's what they have a little chat about, the S word. And that's about it really for this scene. So then we cut to night time. They're all asleep in the tent, but Brandon's sodded off. Tori wakes up and sees that Brandon's not around, but he's gone over to I forgot her name already. Caitlin's house. Caitlin Connor gone over to her house. There you see, she's fast asleep in bed, and a computer keeps switching on and playing music, playing a song, a laptop. So she goes and turns it off, and then she turns it off. When she turns around, it comes back on again. Ooh, crikey. I'd have thought I'd done like a quick woo-woo, although we knew that something were going and switching it on, but we don't. It just comes on. As though it's like supernatural, except it's not. Just Brandon, who's really quick. Or maybe he has got telekinetic powers, I don't know. But it comes back on, so she turns it off again and puts stuff on top. And then the curtains rustle to attract her attention. And we see, there it is, Brandon's behind the curtains. Oh, you can't see him now because I moved this so you could see Noah, but there he is, looking behind the curtains. Of course, he's a little creep. So she screams. The mother comes in. She says, "There's somebody behind the curtain." And the mother looks, and obviously he's not there anymore. He's gone. He's flown out the window. This Tori looking for Brandon. But then he's there. He says, "I just went for a wee." Right, next day at school, or Monday at school. Here we see now. I think this is after school now. I think he's been there all day. We learn that Tori's talking to Merrilee, her sister, who's the school counsellor. Anyway, while Brandon's outside, and he's doodling in his book, and then we see that's going to be his costume. I don't know. Did he learn to knit? He must have done, because he's got a knitted cloak and a knitted mask. Did he knit it himself? Maybe he did. Maybe there's a knitting class at school. But that's what it is. I wouldn't have knitted myself. If I thought I was a superhero, I wouldn't have knitted something. I'd have, sewn something together, probably out of leather. I'd have got some old leather, book binding stuff and whatever, and sewed something together to look cool. Anyway, here we go. So she's asking, should she take Brandon to see a specialist? Asking about the literature that she found under his bed. Because I think, Caitlin told her mum that it was Brandon Briar that she saw in her room. But I don't think anybody else knows just yet. She hasn't made it public, I don't think. Right, so there you go. Oh, we see that's where we see Brandon's his call sign that he leaves whenever he starts doing bad things. Now he leaves that shape. It's obviously BB. It stands for Brandon Briars. Also stands for Brightburn, I suppose. Alliteration again. Right, so off they go back to the farm. Kyle's out. He's putting the gun, the rifle that Brandon was given for his birthday. He's putting that away in the gun safe. I don't know what they call them. But then he hears a noise. Oh, he's putting it away. Then he hears a noise. So he goes to investigate. I hope he locked all that up before he set off. But we hear the chickens and stuff going crazy. And he thinks it's the wolf. He goes, oh, it's the wolf. Then we find out it's Brandon standing there making the chickens go mental. He keeps saying, Brandon, you all right? And Brandon says, yeah, I'm fine, and walks off. So they go back inside. But then, later on, Kyle is woken up and he goes to get Tori, and we find all the chickens have been killed. And she says it's the wolf, and he suspects it's Brandon. And I think he might be right. Although we didn't see Brandon do it, he probably was him. As I said, he's a little shit. But she'll have none of it, because she's his mother. He'll get away with murder, literally. But it says, a wolf can't rip a door off and break a lock. She won't have anything. Right, next day, I presume, at school, they're doing a... what's this about now? About working together. What's the word? Teamwork, like a teamwork thing, isn't it? Team building thing where you have to trust the other members of your team, so they're pushing each other about in the circle. And then it's Brandon's turn, and obviously Caitlin doesn't want to be near him. She's like going as he comes towards her, and he's falling towards her, and she won't catch him, and he ends up falling over, as we'll see. There you go. He ends up falling over, bangs his head a little bit. And the teacher, tells her to give him a hand up or he's failing her. Trust fall. That's the one. Trust fall. Yes, that's it. Where was I? Blah, 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 blah. Oh, it says she'll fail the class if she doesn't give him a hand up. So, there you go. So she holds out her hand. Brandon takes it and crushes the bones in her hand, and I think breaks her wrist as well, for good measure. There we go. So her mother, Erica, who works at the diner, remember, is not very happy about this. Did you see my daughter's hand? She wants Brandon arrested. Obviously the sheriff, says can't arrest him just yet. Tori's saying, it were an accident, it were an accident, but he's going to be suspended, and he'll go see the counsellor. Erica's not impressed, his aunt. But then this is when she tells him that Caitlin said she saw Brandon in her room, but obviously Kyle and Tori say, we're camping with us 30 miles away, so that's impossible. But we know better, don't we? Because we've seen what he gets up to. And then she talks about, where Brandon may have come from. So maybe he's from inbred. Anyway, but Tori's not having anything of it. She keeps her cool, actually. She's very calm. So anyway, so they'd off home. Kyle's obviously, concerned about what's happened. But, they'll deal with it as... this is where she tells him that when he was sleepwalking, she found him in the barn. And there we go. Now he's hurting people. And there the thing in the barn's doing its red glowy thing again. Chanting in foreign language. Right, starts learning words now. I think he says it, so he's not doing it. He says a word, in alien Yorkshire or something like that, and he learns the phrase "take the world," which is what we learn later. So it's his job is to take take over the planet Earth. This is Tori. She's checking for meteors over Brightburn, Kansas in 2006, and obviously, well, there must have been a comet passed by apparently. So is Brandon from a comet? Possibly. Anyway, here we go. So Brandon is gonna find the spaceship. So because he's got his super strength now, he can break the lock. So he goes in. And there he goes, he's floating above the whatever's down there. And we learn it's take the world. But Tori goes out and finds him, and he comes round and then falls, and then he cuts his hand on whatever that is, the spaceship. We learn that can harm him. So she goes over, and there we go, it cut me. So remember that for later. But she says, you're okay. And it looks a little bit different to how it looks later on. Oh, no, that's the back of it, isn't it? We're looking at the back of it there. We see the front of it later on. Anyway, so she explains to him now how they found him, and that he wasn't a doctor from an agency. They found him in the woods. So he gets angry and says, you lied. She's telling him all calmly, one perfect night you came to us. And then, you've been a gift. And then he goes, you lied, I hate you, and he starts kicking off. And goes to his room or whatever. Oh no, he goes outside. That's where he says take the world. And she's telling Kyle that he found the spaceship. Take the world. There we go. And his eyes glow now. Hang on. I forgot to mute it, didn't I? Crikey. Are we still... we're still going. Yeah, we are. Yeah. Hello, Windgrace. It's Archmage Frey. Just popping in to say hi. Somehow haven't seen this movie yet. It's a cool film. It is. I love Brightburn. It's one of those films where I didn't have much expectation for it, actually, when I first saw it, and then I watched it, and I thought it was really good. That's it. It's not a long film. So, it does its job. That's what it does. Anyway, where were we? Oh, his eyes are glowing. So, anyway. So we're back with Caitlin now. We see she's got a big cast on her arm. But Brandon goes to see her. What are you doing here? He's brought her some flowers. He says, my mum told me not to talk to you. Hey, dear. But he says, I'm going to sort that out. He's telling her how special he is. He's going to take care of her mum. And then she looks and he's gone. But then Erica's locking up now. Gary's going home. That's obviously the chef. I've worked in, food preparation. You don't wear your food preparation things outside of work. You take them off inside and, either put them in a locker or put them in your bag or whatever. But you don't wear them out. I was told off for that once. Anyway, so she's sorting things out, dealing with the cash register. Or as we call it in the UK, the till. Anyway, she's dealing with that. Then she's tidying up. We see the windows are all steamed up. As she turns around there, we see the Brightburn not Brightburn, the Brandon Brian symbol. It could also be DNA, I suppose, at a pinch, but I don't know. But she sees that's all over the windows, and then the lights go out, and then this neon light, is it not a neon light, is it? What they call them? Fluorescent light, that's the word. Explodes, and we get our first cool bit of gore in the film. Explodes, like, the glass goes in her eye, and then she has a piece of it in her eye, and it's cool. There you go. Nice bit of pulling glass out of her eye. So, but she must be tough. I'd have been crying, I would. Maybe it doesn't hurt. I don't know. I've never had anything in my eye. Anyway, he appears to her, does Brandon, in a minute. She's got a baseball bat, and she's just wildly swinging with it, but she has to go and hide in the fridge. So she's in there, but then Brandon's cutting his way through. He's cutting his way through, and then pulls the door off. He's obviously, he's not concerned with being found out, is he? He don't give a monkeys. He's not trying to be secret or anything. He's just doing what he's doing. So there we see him. Well, you can't see him, but he's there. And he just rushes towards her, as we'll see. There we go. But we learn that he hasn't killed her. Well, he does kill her, but she's missing for the time being. He's taken her somewhere. Right, so what's happening here now? Brandon's appeared. It's going to be late for school. I can't remember what they're talking about. But they're fine. They're fine anyway. Right, back at the diner, the police are there. Erica's missing. Oh, pardon me. The police are there taking pictures and stuff. They don't know what's happened to her. They think, is it a robbery or something? But apparently, there's all the money still there. So it wasn't much of a robbery. And then there's the evidence of the fridge door that's been cut open with a welding torch-like device, I suppose. But then he sees the symbol on the window. There you go. So that's a clue. Right, so Brandon's in, what's the word? With his counsellor, Aunt Mary Lee. So she's talking to him, asking him if he, feels remorse for what he did to Caitlin. And obviously he don't, He just keeps telling everybody that he's telling her that he's special and he's superior because he's not from there. So, but then he gets angry, She's telling him, he's got to talk to her because she's got to make a report for the sheriff and for, Brandon's mom. But he just gets angry at her, and because he gives her the hard stare in a moment. Oh, there you go, that with the hard stare. So then there he's in bed listening to the voices from the barn, obviously updating him. Right, anyway, so Kyle's in the bar with Noah, his brother-in-law, and some other chaps, and they're playing pool, and they're asking about Erica. The diner were wrecked, and Erica's missing, and this chap says, maybe it were Brandon, because they all know what he did to Caitlin's hand, but, Carl says, that's not funny, so, okay. So Noah decides he's going home, so he's going to drive, drinking and driving, don't do it, not a wise thing, not even if you live in the middle of nowhere, just don't drink and drive, but, they let him go. Tori's home, she's got some chicken, there we go, sesame chicken, but he's not around. Then we cut to, this is Mary Lee's house, and she's putting things away, drinking a big glass of wine, and the alarm keeps going off. Oh, we see as the light goes out, we see Brandon outside the window. See if we can do that. I thought she'd all bandages on the feet there and the legs. I thought she'd done something, but it's big socks, isn't it? Come on, show us it. See, it's not doing it, is it? See, I've gone too far now. Yeah, they're going to do it now. There we go. There we go. He's hovering outside with his glowing red eyes and his knitted superhero outfit. Mostly she didn't see him. So there you go. She's heading off to bed, but then hang on. I think we see Brandon lurking. Oh, we saw him lurking earlier on. Hang on, where are we? I've gone too far. Never mind. Brandon's at the door. There you go. He says, I need to talk to you. And he's like warning her off. And she says, it's not appropriate for you to be here. So, go home. So he says, okay. So she's obviously thinking something's up here. So off he goes. Oh, and then we see Brandon lurking as she goes to bed. There you go. Going to bed, turning off. Ringer. Love you. Because he's on his way home. Remember, he's Noah. There he is. There's Brandon lurking. Noah comes in, goes upstairs, brushes his teeth, and then we see. Good job he doesn't open his eyes here. See if we can do this bit. So he brushes his teeth. As you do. I'd have it all down in my beard. I do. I'm very messy. But then he's got his eyes shut. Oh, good job, because Brandon's there, hovering in the shower. Oh, dear. Why has he got his eyes shut? I don't know. Anyway, so he hears a noise in the thingamabob. That. And goes in to check, and there we go. We see Brandon there, and so he's a bit cross with him. He takes just pulls the mask off him and says, "What you doing?" So what's this creepy mask? It's not creepy, says Brandon. So he says, "I'm taking you home." So hang on, I've got to put this back now. Yeah, where are you going? Come on, you blinking thing. There you go. So he's taking Brandon home. What am I doing? Oh, we're crying out loud. Stupid mouse. There we go. Clicking when I didn't want it to. I forgot where I was now. All right, he's taking Brandon home. So he tells Brandon to get into the car. Get in the truck, sorry. But he goes round. He doesn't hear Brandon get in. And he says, tells him, get in the truck. But then Brandon throws him against the garage door. And I think his eyes glowed a little bit as well. And then he's gone. So Noah's like, what the? So he drives off after him. I presume he's going to try to find Brandon. And he does find him. His truck conks out. Obviously, Brandon, as we've seen, Brandon can affect electrical things. He must have like an EMP sense, I don't know, that affects electrical things. So he makes the truck cut out, and as Noah's trying to start it, we keep seeing Brandon in the headlights. There he is, hovering, and then he's like, no, and then Brandon picks up the truck, picks it up, and then drops it down. Another good bit of go. There we go. That's Noah done for. Here he is, and all his jaws all broken and mashed in, and he actually holds it back up. But he's bleeding out. I think he dies here. Brandon don't actually, kill him. I thought Brandon were going to, use his laser eyes, but he don't have to. He just dies. Probably a shock, to be honest. But Brandon just comes up and gets some blood, takes some of Noah's blood and draws his symbol. He draws this symbol on the road because he don't care. He wants people to know he's there. It's his calling card. He's basically a serial killer, isn't he now? Anyway, so Tori's worrying that because he's not home, he's Brandon. She's worrying where he is. She's leaving Merrily a message. Merrily's gone to bed. She's asleep. She doesn't know what's happened to Noah. There he is. He comes in with no shirt on. He's taking his shirt off. He lies to him, telling him he was playing soccer, and all the other kids pushed him, and he got his shirt ripped, which is why he ain't got it on. So he's walked home, and so he says he's going to bed. So he goes up to bed. There you go. So off he goes, and they said he's lying. So of course he's lying. What do we do? I don't know. So they're a bit lost. They don't know what to do. Oh, and this is Kyle has a dream now, and I think we see kind of what happened when they found Brandon. But he has a dream. He goes into the woods, and we see Tori holding see the spaceship there, the little teeny tiny spaceship, and Tori holding the baby. But then all blood starts coming out of her eyes. She goes, it's a boy. But then all blood starts coming out of him and out of her eyes, and her eyes turn white. And hang on, see if I can. For goodness, no, it's not going to show us, is it? Come on, show us Tori then. There it is. There. Come on, close up, close up. When you're ready. There we go. There we go. See, and her eyes, there we go, her eyes turn white, she's bleeding out of her eyes and her mouth. And then we see the baby's eyes glow. Hey! Look at that's rubbish, that, isn't it? But it's a dream, it's a dream. And then he goes for him, with sharp teeth, and he wakes up. And then we find out about what's happened to Noah. So they go to the hospital. Mary Lee's there. They won't let us see Noah because his face is all smashed in. And they think he's crashed his truck, swerving to avoid the deer. That's what they're thinking. So that's that. So he's dead, is Noah. And so the next morning they go in to tell Brandon that Uncle Noah's dead. And he's like, yeah, okay, that's all he says. So, am I supposed to cry? I don't know. But then Kyle loses his temper because Merrily told him that she asked, did Brandon get home all right? Because she told him that he visited her last night. So that's how they know that he wasn't playing soccer. But they knew that anyway. So Kyle loses his temper with him. He says, right, that's it. There you go. While we're in Caitlin's bedroom, he's lying to our faces, and he grabs hold of Brandon, but Brandon pushes him off, and he not only smashes the cupboard, it smashes through to another room. There's a room beyond that cupboard. And then he goes, go to your room. So he goes to his room, gets in the shower for some reason. I don't know why. I'd have started playing with my cars or something, or going in my room and I'd been reading a comic, or I wouldn't have gone in the shower. Now at that age, my mother had to drag me kicking and screaming into to the bath, because we didn't have showers when I was that age. We had to have a bath once a week, whether we needed it or not. And I was like that now. I'm kidding. Anyway, so he's in the shower. He's Brandon, and Kyle's looking for the his top from the other night or last night, whenever it was, and he finds it eventually. There you go. It's Brandon stuffed it behind the chest of drawers, and it's got all blood on it. So he shows it to. There we go. Telling him he's apologising to Brandon, saying he's sorry for losing his temper. They've all been through a lot, but then he goes and tells Tori that. That's probably Noah's blood on that on his shirt, and she says, "How could Brandon have killed Noah?" And he's, who knows what kind of weird shit he can do. But she won't have anything. She won't have anything bad said about him. Oh, pardon me. Because she's his mother. But he says he's not our son. Anyway, got to a news report. They're wanting information. Because, every town in America has its own TV and radio station. So, they wanted information about what happened to Noah. This is the sheriff. Has he got a name? Let's have a look. Sheriff. Gregory Allen Williams as Sheriff Deaver, local sheriff of the small town. And as we see later, he's got a deputy played by Anne Humphrey, Deputy Ayres, I don't know. But we see her later. Spoiler, she doesn't last long. Anyway, the sheriff, Deavers, is looking through the accident scene photos from Noah's crash, and he sees the symbol on the. It's not going to show us, is it? I can never. He sees the symbol in the photos because they took a photo of it. See if we can. There we go. There it is. Yeah, he sees the symbol on the ground, and then he remembers seeing it on the window of the diner. So there we go. He's thinking, "Oh, I saw that on the window of the diner." So he looks at the photo of that as well. In a minute, when he's ready, that's Erica. Oh, there we go. Now we see the photo of the symbol from the diner. What's that? We didn't get a shower installed until I don't know, maybe 15. Yeah, probably about the same for me, to be honest. Maybe older. I can't remember. We had baths. Where were we? Right, so he sees that. So he's obviously thinking, oh, there's a connection here now between the disappearance of Erica and the death of Noah. This is Kyle. He's going through Brandon's baby stuff. His birthday cards he's got over the years. And there we go, Brandon's handprint. And so he's obviously sad. And then he says to Tori, as he's getting into bed, that he's going to take Brandon hunting for the weekend. And, do some father-son stuff and tell him he loves him and all that. But we all know that's not going to happen. There we go. I'm going to take him away for the weekend. Be his dad. Tell him I love him. So that's what they're doing. So he's packing up. They're going out camping. Father-son stuff. Never take my son camping. He hates creepy crawlies. Probably more than I do, to be honest. So I'd never get him in a tent. So off they go. There you go. Off they go. Right. So, she does a bit of painting. Then the sheriff arrives. Sheriff Deavers. He shows her the photo of the symbol, the BB symbol. But she says she's never seen it before. She's lying. She has. We saw earlier on. She saw Brandon drawing it. But she lies. She says, "No, I've never seen it." And then he says, "Can I come inside and have a look around?" She says, "No, I think you better go." And he says, "Well, I'll be back. It's going to go see the judge, no doubt." But anyway, she sends him packing. But she realises, so she goes. She realises what's going on, so she goes looking for Brandon's sketchbook. Meanwhile, out in the woods, Brandon's found some deer tracks. Oh, there you go. There, she's found his notebook with all the BBs on. But then Kyle aims the gun at the back of Brandon's head as she looks at this lot. There you go. Lock clicks. Then we see that Brandon's it's just drawn. Everything is done. So here he is cutting through the fridge door to get to Erica, and we see Erica's lost her eye. She's got a very good memory, hasn't he? Remember, he's smart. There we go. Self-portrait, Erica and her eye. Kyle's getting ready to kill his son. What's this? Oh, this is him killing Noah. Who's that? Oh, that's Noah, as he says. He's got a very good memory for drawing. I'm rubbish at drawing from memory. But he is an alien and a prodigy. But she's seeing all this and being shocked. There we go, take the world. And then we see, there we go, Brandon firing his laser beam eyes at the Earth and destroying it. And then we see him hovering over, dead people. So he's wanting to take over the world. That is his purpose, no doubt. But then, there we go. Kyle shoots Brandon in the back of the head. Does no good. Probably just bounces off. Brandon says, what are you doing? And then he flies away or whatever. And then Kyle thinks, oh, shit. So he runs off. He runs away. So as he's running away, we see Brandon flying around, and then he, knocks Kyle to the ground, knocks his gun away. Obviously, he must have had that in his pocket, his mask, his knitted superhero mask. Sorry, supervillain mask. So he grabs onto Brandon. He's saying, please don't hurt me. But Brandon thinks, no, I'm just going to burn your eyes out. We saw Homelander do this, didn't we, in The Boys? So he's doing it too. I don't know who did it first. Did The Boys do this first, or did this do this first? I don't know. But there we go. Cool. So that's the end of Kyle. But then we see Tori trying to phone Kyle on his mobile. Sorry, his cell phone. And then somebody answers. She assumes it's Kyle, and she's saying, Brandon, he killed Noah. But then Brandon says hello, and she says it's Brandon. Says hello, Mum. Where's your father? He's gone. So she realizes he's killed his father. That'd be like Superman killing Jonathan Kent, wouldn't it? Maybe he's hovering over the family home. He crushes the phone. Look. So she's thinking, oh, I'm in for it now. But then he starts smashing the house up. Does Brandon keeps flying through the house and smashing it up. She tries dialing 911, saying, "Please pick up." I don't know how long they take to answer 911 in America. When you phone 999 here, that's more or less immediate. I think not that I've phoned it very often, if ever. Anyway, never mind. So she's trying to phone. She gets through eventually, but just as they answer, Brandon smashes through the house again, and she gets cut off. But they realise where the call's coming from, and the sheriff's on his way. There you go. Got a call from the Briar residence, so he's on his way. He's the sheriff. But Brandon's still, flying through the house, smashing it to pieces. The Boys dropped season 1 in 2019, so they were probably both filming at the same time. Yes, they probably were, yeah. It's weird that, isn't it? It happens a lot that in Hollywood, isn't it? Similar themed things happening at the same time. Remember that, was it 1989, when we got like The Abyss, Deep Star 6 and Leviathan and probably all films at the same time. And then we had that year at 1997-ish, when we had like Deep Impact and Armageddon in the same year. Happens a lot, doesn't it? Anyway, never mind. Right, the sheriff and his deputy arrive to see what's going on. And they call out to her. She says, I'm here. So she starts coming down. And, I've gone too far. There you go. And Brandon gets the sheriff. There we go. Just splatters him, basically. So that's the end of the sheriff. The deputy comes running in, and she tells us to go hide. But as we see, Brandon makes short work of her. He's quite cruel as well, as we'll see. She's hiding under the bed upstairs, is Tori. There you go. This is the deputy. Ayers, I think her name is, looking for Brandon. She saw him outside the window, but then when she looked again, he was gone, and now he's standing behind her. And then we see in the background, there you go, he's just smashing her about. And then her body lands right in front of Tori. There you go. all gurgling blood. So that's quite gruesome. But she's still out. She daren't move. Brandon comes floating through the bedroom. Quite a creepy scene. I don't know why he doesn't just look under the bed straight away. You'd think he would. Not that clever, is he? Got to give Tori a chance to get away, I suppose, but she does. So she goes away. Then he comes back and looks under the bed then. But realises she's going out to the barn. Yes, it's true. Small town cops in films, they're always the ones who have to deal with crazy aliens or monsters. Yes, it's true. They do. Anyway, she falls out the window. There's Tori, and then she realises she cuts her hand in pretty much exactly the same place as Brandon cut his hand. And then she remembers that the alien spaceship cut him. So she goes running over to the barn, and then we see Brandon come flying out the house. You ready? Here he comes. There he is. So she heads to the barn, and she's going down into where the spaceship is. And it's obviously not a very well built spaceship, this, because she can just pull off a piece of it quite easily. Just snaps a piece of it, a nice sharp bladed piece. But as we'll see. And she also finds Erica. She looks round. We see Erica. Oh, see, I've gone too far. Look. Is it? Are we going to see Erica? Oh, for crying out loud. Oh, she was there in the background. Did you see her? Oh, never mind. She's going to turn round in a moment, I think. Oh, never mind. Erica were in the background, all cut up and, and all the guts hanging out. Because, he's mental, he's Brandon. So she calls out to him and she says, I'll never hurt you. So Brandon arrives. And she goes to hug him. Here we go. He's going to be needing a new knitted mask soon, isn't he? It's getting a bit worse for wear. So there we go. I believe you were a blessing. So she's trying to trick him. So as she hugs him, she brings out the piece of his ship and she's going to stab him, but he stops her. He says, I'm sorry. But he grabs her and they go flying up into the sky. And then he just drops her. This is what we're going to do and see now. See, she's all smashed up. Because they just flew through the roof, so she obviously got all injured. And he's just going to let go of her. Any minute now, for God's sake. No, for crying out loud. There you go. Just drops her. There we go. So that's the end of Tori. I've seen Willy's Wonderland. I've seen that. I quite enjoyed that, to be honest. What's his face? I forgot his bloody name now. Tell you my brain. Anyways, dropping Tori. She's falling to her death. There we go. And then he sees an aeroplane coming towards him. There we go. So he thinks, I'm going to cover up my crimes. But he wasn't bothered about covering up his crimes before, was he? Or maybe he just crashes this plane for fun. So he crashes the plane. I think the film ends there, actually. There we go. Oh, there we go. We see the Breyer mailbox and the plane wheel. Oh, you can't see it there, but there's a plane wheel in the background. There we go. There's the wreckage. And so everybody thinks that Tori were killed, when the plane crashed onto the farm. There you go. There you go. Plane wreckage. Details are still coming in. Oh, there's Brandon's the only survivor. So, there we go. Brightburn. Sorry, Brightburn. But then we cut to, news reports of strange fire over Brightburn. And then there you see him hovering. We see some others. I'm going to click forward. Oh, there we go. Here's Michael Rooker. He knows what's going on. He's obviously one of these conspiracy YouTube channels. I could do one of them at the drop of a hat. Nicolas Cage. Nicolas Cage. Why couldn't I remember his name? In Willy's Wonderland. I don't think he says a thing, does he? I don't think he has a line in that, I don't think. But it's very good. It's very entertaining. Although, I must admit, I did enjoy the Banana Splits movie better. I did like that more. Anyway, so Michael Rooker is telling the end is nigh, basically. Strange symbol discovered. There goes the BB symbol burned into a field. So he's going to destroy the world. There we go. Oh, there's Michael Rooker again. What we were talking about last week. Some kind of witch woman. What's this? Who chokes people out with ropes and cords? So is this going to be for the sequel? I don't know. So is this another special person? We'll have all these special baddies in the sequel. Brandon and the witch woman. Don't know. They're all out there. See, he's setting up. Oh, I was seeing. Well, you can't see that there, can you? So we've got. Hang on, where's me? Oh, there we go. Did it move that over? So we've got the. That's obviously Brandon, the witch woman, and I don't know what this is. Is it a ship or something? Is it something at sea? I don't know what it is. Can you see? There you go, my mouse pointer. So there's stuff going on in the world that we don't know about, that's mysterious. They're all gonna eat our breakfast. And then that's it. That's the end. That's the end of the film. There's nothing else goes on at the end. So anyway, it's a really good film. I really enjoy it. Let's get rid of that. So yeah, so maybe they will do a sequel one day. I hope so. Hang on, what's going on here? Yeah, evil Wonder Woman, evil Aquaman. Oh yeah, probably. And evil Avengers Assemble. Well, it's about time they did that, didn't they? No actual dialogue for Cage, just grunts during fights. Yes, he did in Willy's Wonderland. I did enjoy it, though. I did enjoy it. Just as I enjoyed this one, I enjoyed Brightburn. And like I said, I don't know if they'll do a sequel. I think James Gunn's busy now, isn't he, doing other superhero things, more traditional superhero things. But, he can still produce, can't he? But it'd be good if they did an evil... Justice League. I suppose they've already done that in the comics, haven't they? Probably. I bet they have. But anyway. But yeah, I really enjoy it. So, it's well made, well acted, good special effects on a low budget. That's a $6 to $12 million worth of budget. And it did quite well. It did. It wasn't a box office smash, but it did quite well for its low budget. So maybe we will see a Brightburn 2 at some point. It's not been that long since it came out, has it? So it could do. What's that? Who's saying that? I'd like to see Windgrace. I'd like to see the evil Batman in this universe. I'd much rather he did this than do DCU. Well, yeah, so do I, to be honest. So do I. But anyway, we'll leave it there. We will leave it there. So, thanks for watching, everybody. Thanks for the comments in the chat. Thanks, Joshua. And thanks, Windgrace, Archmage Frey. Go follow his channel. It's on YouTube. Go follow Windgrace's channel. Got some great videos there. And I'll leave, as I said, I'll leave it there. I'm going to go and watch Friday Night Tights now because it's Friday, so I've got that to watch. I have a date with the Friday Night Tights team. So thanks for watching, and wherever you are in the universe, don't have nightmares, and until next time, I'll say there. And I'm not ready with my outro. There we go. Right, I'm going now, definitely. So thanks for watching. I'll see you later.